Powered by Riverside.
It's the Dynasty front office, and we are building you championships one trade at a time. I'm your host, Jesse Schneeman, and I'm here with the three best friends anyone could ever have, starting with the auspicious Austin Bell. How you doing tonight, Austin?
I'm good, man. My Panthers went 0-3 in preseason, so right in midseason form, right on it, good to go. So I'm great. I hope you are.
I'm amazing. Preseason doesn't matter as long as guys don't get hurt.
Yeah, well, you just won the Super Bowl, so like mine's a little different. Like this is games, it's basically the same thing as regular season for me. So just right on cue.
Oh, that's okay.
I forgot what postseason felt like, so this is kind of like, the precursor for me.
Gotcha.
Hope is important for us, Jesse.
Uh-huh.
Okay. For us,
MMA
lowly,
man, Jack Mendoza. Yeah, your boys were playing tonight too. How Jackson Dart look?
Oh yeah, they're getting the Hall of Fame jacket measurements ready.
Didn't he fumble and get concussed on the same play?
Yeah, but rookie stuff. It happens once. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean he's got a couple guys to come
It's
before
probably
him,
literally the only mistake he made all preseason.
I love how Jamie steps in and throws a bomb for a touchdown the next play.
Yeah, no shit's given. I like how every quarterback in that room is actually throwing the ball deep, because I don't think I've seen a Giants quarterback throw the ball, over 35 yards since, I don't know, Eli was in his 5th year. So yeah, it's been a while.
Every Russ attempt has been over 30 yards so far this preseason. I think.
It does feel like it. Jeez.
He's looked really good too.
He's got something to prove.
Yeah, they keep hyping up the moon ball, so he's letting it loose.
And
yeah, I'm doing good, Jesse. I'm doing
good. I was moving on.
I don't know how we got on the Giants here, but yeah, I'm doing good.
And Major Mike Casper, how are you tonight, Mike?
Dude, I'm doing great. This is a great break. I'm ready for fantasy football, man. I'm just ready for it.
Yes.
Yeah, my boss was talking to me today, and he's like talking about how many preseason games are on tonight or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, we're a week away from the Eagles Dallas, blah blah blah. He's like, calm down, buddy. It's 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
But we do get to the 53-man roster next Tuesday. So that's a fun step for fantasy. That'll be a lot of interesting names.
Waiver wire stuff.
Or traded, stuff like that. So we at least have an exciting week. Yep.
Waiver wire stuff.
All right. Welcome in for our live Thursday nights. We're also available on podcasts the next day on Fridays most of the time. Mike, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us when we're not podcasting?
Yeah, find us on YouTube and Facebook at Dynasty Front Office, and Twitter or X at Front Office FF. And we have the Discord. Come join our Discord. Give us your trade bangers or trade questions, and the link for that's in the description. So come on down. Come on in.
Yeah, and everybody says like and subscribe, but from what I've noticed so far, subscribe means absolutely the most. So wherever you're listening to us right now, if you could subscribe so you always get an alert and you always get a download, we'd really appreciate that. That'd help us build our brand and allow us to bring you more content besides just one a week. Hint, hint.
Yeah. And I'll be beggy and ask for likes too. Please.
Yeah, likes are nice. Likes are nice. All right, guys. So tonight we'll be doing Trade Banger of the Week, wide receiver rankings, training camp reports, and then, as always, a little pop culture fun. Y'all ready to roll?
I just subscribed.
Hell yeah, there's one. Let's go.
Chad, our newest subscriber, do you have our Trade Banger of the Week?
I sure do. Subscribing is not the only thing I can do. Yeah, so in our Trade Banger of the Week, we have a 12-team Superflex 0.5 tight end premium. Team 1 receives CeeDee Lamb. Team 2 receives Tedoroa McMillan and Tyler Warren.
Spicy. All right. Yeah, gentlemen. All right, Mike, why don't you tell me first since Austin, this was your trade, right?
It was.
I'm a pretty big fan of the Tet side. When you got someone that can be a top 12 wide receiver by the end of the season in Dynasty and top 5, if not top 3 tight end at the end of the season. Spoiler warning, I guess, for our tight end ranking show, but compare that with CeeDee Lamb, he can't really go much higher, right? And you're really helping yourself out, I think, at 2 positions. I have the Tet side by quite a bit, but I can get it from both.
Yeah, I really disagree strongly. I'll take the Lamb. I'll take the Lamb side every time by a lot. Both of these guys could be, I mean, wide receiver and tight end 2 territory by the end of the year. They could both lose tons of value. Lamb's not losing value. Lamb is the guy that you want to be. So to get from Tet to Lamb, it takes more than just like a late first for me.
But how many first round tight ends recently have actually lost value? Like even with
Dalton
Kyle
Kincaid.
Pitts, well, yeah, but we're like 3 years from there now.
Yeah,
like
that took
last
time.
year. It took
Okay.
time. He was still pretty high going into last year.
But how many first round tight ends have actually hit lately?
No, but you're not really worried about
Bowers,
that.
Pitts
Oh,
actually
yeah.
did in his first year. So
I mean,
the
hit rate's always going to be low, but when you're comparing, a guy like Tyler Warren to tight ends across the board, but when you're comparing him to guys that we compare him to as a prospect, I think odds are fairly decent.
But if you're me, you probably already got Mason Taylor and most likely Ferguson or Fannin in the draft. So more. I'm just saying, I valued the later tight ends at their cost so much more than Warren.
It
at a
sounds
late
like you're really
first.
jealous you don't have any Tyler Warren.
I was
feel
gonna say
that's
just the
kinda what I'm hearing.
later tight ends are the ones you always have the
I'm
chance
not-
of hitting and have the least chance of hitting most of the
Yeah.
time. I feel like so.
I'm
We're still
not that
waiting on
jealous
quite a
because
few.
I'm not tearing down 3 or 4 tiers just to get him. Just to get Tyler Warren. It's not the way I do
Interesting.
things.
Chad?
Yeah, I'll say this, and then I'll let it go. If I'm trading CeeDee Lamb, I want at least one thing that I'm sure I'm getting.
I can get that.
Chad?
I like the Tet side.
Nice.
So
A+ analysis.
Solid. So we get paid. for.
Tyler Warren for me is one of the better tight end prospects of recent memory. I like him probably even more than I like him more than consensus. And then Tedero McMillan, I think, has not just wide receiver 1 potential, as in top 12 wide receiver this year, but I think he's from day one locked in as the number 1 wide receiver on his team, which is always helpful for a rookie that highly drafted. Bryce Young is kind of been missing a target like him, and he's shown already in preseason. We can say it's preseason, but they look for him, right? Tedero McMillan's been a part of the offense where they're saying, "Hey, we've got to get this guy the ball," and I like that from day one. This is how you can see that the connection's there. So I'm excited for both of those players. CeeDee Lamb's a guy that's getting to the age where you're going to want to start thinking about trying to get fair value for him sooner rather than later. But yeah, I totally get the point that you kind of want a sure thing. If I didn't like Tet and Warren so much, then I would probably lean towards Jesse's side as well.
All right. I told you why you guys were wrong. I'll let it go. That was Trade Banger of the Week, brought to you by Discord. If you would like to be featured on Trade Banger of the Week, join our Discord, and it could be you. All right, y'all, you ready to jump into the meat of the episode?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Wide receiver rankings. Austin, since you were introduced first, who are your top 5 wide receivers?
1, I have Justin Jefferson. 2, Jamar Chase. 3, Malik Neighbors. 4, CeeDee Lamb. And 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Chad? Chad, you're muted. Chad? All right, how about you, Mike?
All right, we're going to go with Jamar Chase at 1, Justin Jefferson at 2, CeeDee Lamb at 3, Malik Neighbors at 4, and Amon-Ra St. Brown at 5.
Chad, you with us?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry about that, guys.
worries.
Yeah, I've got Justin Jefferson at 1, Jamar Chase at 2, Malik Neighbors at 3, CeeDee Lamb at 4, Puka Nacua at 5.
All right. So out of those top 5 guys, conspicuous by his absence in your list, Austin, is Puka Nacua. So just give you guys a little history on Puka Nacua. My dead cat's name was Puka, so that's kind of the running joke that every time I didn't select Nacua in a draft, my cat's ghost was sitting there staring at me. So I have to call him Pukas just in honor of my cat. Austin, why do you hate him so much? Actually, no, I think my original question is, did you lower him?
I did, actually.
Yeah.
As much of it for anything being my 5 through 9 are in the same tier, I'm worried about the quarterback health and what that's going to do for his production this year. So being these guys are all in the same tier, I bumped him from 6 to 9 just because I think the 3 guys I have ahead of him are going to see tremendous production this year. So it's really all it is for me. I wouldn't have an issue if somebody put him at 6, or even if you wanted to argue at 5. But for me, he's at the bottom of that tier. And it's mainly just worried that Stafford's not going to stay healthy and what his production looks like accordingly.
Yeah, I'm the same because I've got him outside of the top 5 too. Super worried about Stafford. That first big hit that happens, like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? Like, they don't have the best line in the league. Plus, I mean, you can't deny Devontae Adams being there too. Like, I'm not saying he's going to take away everything, but Adams would be a 1 in most other situations, and he's still got it, whether you want to believe it or not, from what we saw from him last year. So he finished as a top 12 wide receiver still, and on 2 different teams. So yeah, that with the quarterback situation, plus honestly, Devontae Adams hates Jimmy G. If you watch The Wide Receiver on Netflix, man, like, he looked pretty pivotal in getting Jimmy G benched. So I'm not a fan of that situation if that's where that ends up going. But I've been higher on Adams probably than anyone on. So yeah, I'm scared shitless. I mean, I'm really scared about the quarterback situation in LA.
Oops, can't say that. Luckily, we have an edit button. Chad, what say you?
Yeah, I think Puka is more talented than the guys I have behind him. So that's why he is where he is. I think he's supremely talented, arguably top 3, top 4 talented in the league, in my opinion. So I think he's a more talented player at this point in his career. I would even probably say much more talented at this point in his career than Devontae Adams is going to be, just my personal opinion. But I'm not really scared. With guys that are that talented, I think they find ways to get production, especially when you know you've got another guy, beside you that can also take away from coverage. Devontae Adams is going to be a guy that demands respect, just like Cooper Kupp was when he was playing with Puka Nacua. So I don't see too much of a reason to nick him on that one for me personally. But the Stafford thing does scare me a little bit. If Stafford was to miss a significant amount of time, then that could be an issue. But there's some other quarterback questions, with guys in this range as well, with Dak and CeeDee Lamb, right? So yeah.
For me, it comes down to talent, like you said. He's more talented than the other guys in this range, in my opinion. Maybe Brian Thomas Jr. could get there, but at this point, Puka he's added the polish to his game so quickly and so purely. And like, he talked about the things in the offseason that he needed to change. He needed to improve his hands last offseason. And then this offseason, or this past season, he was insane with his catch radius. His hands were nuts. So this guy is not only talented, but he's dedicated and smart and understands. And he's probably the coach's favorite player on the entire team. So I'm not worried about it. And if Jimmy G is the guy that the coach brought in to run his system, I'm gonna trust that along with the talent. If I trust the coach and I trust the player's talent, then cross my fingers the quarterback situation works out. It's good enough for me.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to next 5, Austin, 6 through 10.
6, Brian Thomas Jr., 7, Drake London, 8, Nico Collins, 9, Puka Nacua, and 10, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Chad?
I've got 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7, Brian Thomas Jr., 8, Drake London, 9, Nico Collins, 10, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mike?
I got Brian Thomas Jr. at 6, Puka at 7, Nico at 8, Drake London at 9, and Lad McConkey in a new tier at 10.
All right, so for the most part, the same names there. My question is about Marvin Harrison Jr. So I understand why he's wide receiver 10 in Dynasty. He was first wide receiver taken in a really talented class last year, and he's just a supremely talented player. So I get it. I understand, but I guess what I want to know is what if with him. So what would it take on the downside? What would it take for him to not be in this range at this time next year?
An injury.
What are the minimum stats he needs to stay in the top 10?
Same thing he did last year. What was it? Almost 908 touchdowns. If I don't see some kind of improvement, then I mean, I'm talking like for the range for me is basically 10 through, you could even argue 15. Like I think he could drop down to 15 to 16. It's kind of where if he doesn't have a great year, you could see him go there. Other than that, I don't see him dropping any lower than that. So with the ceiling that this type of prospect offers in the Dynasty community is why he's at the top of this tier for me, because he has the ability to jump to 2 or 3 or even 1 in Dynasty receiver rankings with a year that we believe as a player he can have. So having him at 10 with the year he had, like I said, I think it was like 880 and 8 touchdowns with how bad the Cardinals offense looked. I mean, if he just goes and has 1,210, which isn't a crazy stat line for a wide receiver 1 in an offense, he's going to jump to that 3, 4, 5 discussion in Dynasty just with an average year. Yeah, the name.
I was going to say with the numbers last year based off the wide receiver finishes, around like 85 receptions, just over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns would have made him a wide receiver 1 last year. So I think that's what Austin's talking about. And I think if he ends, I think he can do that because that's not even that big of a jump from what he did last year. And he can do that, and that will make him maintain. But if he blows it out of the water with 100 and 1,500 or something like that, then I think
we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about do we want Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. at 1,
just like it was pre-draft, right?
Yep. So that's why he's at the top of this tier for me.
Yeah. So let's go back to Malik Neighbors. My apology. I meant to ask about him earlier. Chad, talk to me about Malik Neighbors and what we can expect from him this year and going forward as far as a ceiling.
Yeah.
As far as like a floor and a ceiling.
Yeah. So I think realistically, I think floor is what he did last year for me. I think with the quarterback situation, what it was really, really tough to find any level of consistency for a player like Malik Neighbors as far as, what he was getting from the quarterback position. I think there's going to be a level of stability there now with, 3 different guys getting a significant amount of reps in the offense and really working with Neighbors, counting even Dart there. Winston is getting a decent amount of looks, and Russ is obviously they're like best friends at this point. It's pretty funny to watch. Yeah, I'm excited. I think stability is the most important thing for wide receiver when it comes to coaching in the quarterback position, and he's going to get that this year. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be monumental for him this year. I think we could be talking about Malik Neighbors wide receiver 1.
So compared to Marvin Harrison Jr., for him to be in the Malik Neighbors area, like wide receiver 3 in Dynasty next year, he's going to have to put up better than 1,210, don't you think?
Probably not, to be honest, not with the name. And it depends on what everybody else does. If Brian Thomas goes and replicates it, if Nico goes absolutely, I mean, there's just too many names, too many variables to say yes or no to that. Yeah. But if Marvin Harrison finishes between 6 and 8 in season rankings, he's going to be in that 2, 3, 4 discussion in Dynasty.
Do you agree with that, Chad?
Yeah, so I agree with the ceiling on on Marvin Harrison's value. I think that is there, and I don't think he has to do a whole lot to get to it. But if he doesn't do well this season, like let's say he was to have another 50, 60, reception season this year, I don't think, we're talking about a floor of like, wide receiver 15, wide receiver 16 in value. I think we're talking about wide receiver 20, 21, 22 in value, just because there's so many really young name brand wide receivers in the NFL right now. Guys like Rashee Rice, guys like, who else? Teteroa McMillan that we're talking about, Rome Odunze. Even guys like Devonta Smith, Jameson Williams, T. Higgins, any of those guys take another step, and Marvin Harrison doesn't, then we're talking about those guys kind of in similar ranges at that point. So I'm a little bit anxious on the floor of it, just because of what you have to pay to get him right now still. But yeah, the ceiling is incredible, and I don't think he has to do a whole lot to get there again.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's more along the lines of what I was thinking with Marvin Harrison. That he took such a hard hit this year in the Dynasty community. Maybe it's a little harder in the redraft because he was going in the first and second round last year. Yikes. And it's first in some redrafts. So I think a lot of those people who play both are looking at him pretty side-eyed. But yeah, I think he needs to put up this year to actually prove his ceiling, to be honest with you. People forget that kind of thing pretty quickly.
I want to bring up CeeDee Lamb. I don't know if y'all remember the start to his career, but it was basically 2 mid-range wide receiver 2 numbers, and everybody had him, I'm out. Kind of like what y'all are saying, that 17 to 20 range. And then the next year he was wide receiver 2 or 3 or 1.
One.
In Dynasty. So like Marvin Harrison Jr. is that type of prospect with that type of name, just like CeeDee Lamb was coming out. So that's why I would say it's dangerous to just call him out and say, oh, well, he should be down at 14, 15 now. Because with that kind of pedigree in Dynasty, that's all it takes is one good year. And all of a sudden you've got a guy that you can trade for anybody. So, it's a good comparison to me. Is I remember everybody talking about CeeDee Lamb can't do it. CeeDee Lamb hasn't done it. He won't do it. He's going into year 3, hadn't put up high-end numbers. And then all of a sudden he did. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Heck, I think Image Shea was 21 last year. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember 21, but I wasn't very put together. So, I understand he's a professional athlete. You got to do it, but there's a little bit of grace in here, in my opinion, especially with how ugly the whole offense was.
Yeah, I think I agree. I just think for me, the only thing that I disagree on is the part where I don't think his floor is 15, 16 in the immediate future if he is to struggle. I don't think the recovery is tough, like you're saying, right? Like if he has a great season year 3, he can make that jump back into top 5, 6, 7 wide receivers. But there's just so many good players in the NFL right now at wide receiver.
Yeah,
so many good players.
So many of them are either already 27, which at that point you're not going to jump into that.
Well, I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about guys
you named
like
3 of the 5 you named were all 27 or higher. Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice is going to have the suspension looming. So until that's handled, we don't know what to do with that. I mean, Waddle's 20.
Okay, but what about guys like Travis Hunter, Tedero McMillan, Rome Odunze?
That's 14 and 15 for me. I kind of counted those.
Emeka Egbuka. Jalen Waddle can also have a comeback season where he's in that. He can. So, I mean, Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden. There's just a ton of players that can, jump him in that. I'm not saying top 5, top 10, top 11, 12 wide receivers. I'm talking about in the 15 to 16 to 17 to 18 range, where if Marvin Harrison is to struggle, that's going to be like the range of outcomes for him. So you can potentially see him drop into that 2021 spot somewhere in that area with those guys. If the cards fell, I'm not saying that all those guys are going to have good seasons.
Your statement's right. I was just kind of looking at my rankings currently, and there's just so many variables on those other guys that I assumed half of them wouldn't hit. Like between Odunze, Jameson, Abuka, Golden, Worthy, 2 of them might hit. So then you're right. Like 17 is probably more of what I should have said.
ASN.
But I feel like he's such a safe name that there will still always be somebody that is like, oh, I'll take him. I'll take that shot.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is like purely consensus. Like I'm probably personally going to have him higher, just because I believe in him as a player. But I'm talking about just purely what I think the general public is going to do.
That makes sense.
All right. So let's talk about some of these guys 11 through 15. Austin, who you got?
Jackson Smith and Jigba at 11, Ladd McConkey at 12, Garrett Wilson at 13, 14 Terry McMillan, and 15 Travis Hunter.
Chad?
I've got Ladd McConkey at 11, Jackson Smith and Jigba at 12, Garrett Wilson at 13, Travis Hunter at 14, Tedero McMillan at 15.
Mike?
Marvin Harrison at 11, Garrett Wilson at 12, Ted McMillan at 13, A.J. Brown at 14, and Travis Hunter at 15.
All right. We got a lot to talk about.
This is a spicy tier.
Garrett Wilson, talk to me about panic level with the run heavy offense and field looking like crap in the preseason.
7 out of 10. And that
Yeah.
breaks my heart because
That's what I would
everybody on
say,
here
too.
knows how much I love Garrett Wilson and believe the talent is like he deserves to be in that discussion with CeeDee Lamb up there at 3-4.
He's
But
every bit
man,
as
he just
talented.
can't get a situation to work. And then he signed the extension. We hoped that Fields would, be competent college QB receiver relationship, and it's preseason, as Jesse said, who cares? But God, it looks ugly.
Chad, how sure are you that this is going to happen?
I'm really worried. I'm really, really worried. Honestly, having him at 13 kind of worries me. Like every day that goes by, I'm like, man, I just want to drop him more and more. Not because I don't think the world of him as a player. It's just that, I say certain levels of talent can outweigh bad quarterback situations, and that is true a lot of the time. But when an offense is designed to avoid the bad quarterback situation, where I think they're going to run the ball a million times, it's going to be tough.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm pretty worried too. I mean, in the 6 games Fields started last year, he only threw 5 touchdowns. So that's got me pretty concerned. The good news is Garrett Wilson, even with Adams finishing as wide receiver 12, he still finished as the wide receiver 10 last year, which I think is pretty impressive. And
Yeah,
who
for
else?
how
who
ugly
else?
that was.
And who else is catching the ball in New York? Can you guys even name the wide receiver to
Mason Taylor.
I had to
Mason
look it up.
Taylor.
Mason
Yeah.
Taylor.
Mason
I could've
Taylor,
told you that was gonna
Josh
be said.
Reynolds, Lazard, and Tyler Johnson
And
is their
Breece
wide
Hall.
receiver. Yeah, Brees Hall obviously too.
So
So,
Josh
which
Reynolds.
Fields isn't good at dumping it off, but that's
No,
my
because
point.
he'll run instead, which
Yeah.
is what has me a little bit worried. But if there's one thing that can save him, I think it is that. In what other playmakers
point.
do you have behind besides him and Hall? But
and just
yeah,
paid him a crap ton too. So
Yeah, last thing you want is him disgruntled there. They need him to build their team. But yeah, I'm worried. Don't lie. I mean, won't lie. I'm still at like a 7 out of 10, like Austin said.
Yeah.
But I think he's still got a chance to end as wide receiver 1 this year, but kind of stay where he's at, to be honest.
Well, would you guys be shocked if he threw the ball like 16, 17 times a game?
Nope.
no, not in some game scripts. If the defense can hold on, it would not shock me at all.
That's
now,
what
the
I'm
thing
worried
is
about, 'cause
I
I think
think
that's
Garrett
realistic.
Wilson might get 10 of those targets,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
at 85 and get a touchdown every once in a while. But like, if Garrett Wilson wasn't so talented, it would be a 10 out of 10 worry skill, to be honest. Like that's
He
where
does
I would
have
be.
Tyrod behind him, which I think he's at least a competent backup
That'd be better. Yeah.
compared to some of the other ones. So I mean, if things start going really bad and he gets benched this season again, I think it can actually improve. To be honest,
Tyrod's not good enough to really carry an offense, though.
Yeah,
He's-
but
he's
but
good
it's
enough
not
to-
about carrying
he
the
can
offense,
carry
it's
1
about-
or 2 fantasy
Yeah.
assets. I think.
Yeah,
is what the
yeah, I mean,
deal
yeah.
is, yeah.
He did fine with neighbors, right? I mean, it's just about getting a quarterback that is comfortable throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game without the costly mistakes, and Tyrod's not going to do that for you. So
Yeah.
I mean, not give away the ball a million times. So I would probably like that for fantasy better. Obviously, it's best case scenario that Fields figures it out, but
Which it does sound
Well,
like we absolutely hate him, and I want to believe
yeah,
he can do it. But God, this preseason did not help me at all believe.
Well, the good
I just
thing
don't like
is-
when a quarterback looks so scared and
Yeah.
nervous, and he just looks scared and nervous.
He does.
He can't process.
He looks
and,
like
yeah.
Bryce did the first 2 weeks last year. Like
He's just-
it reminds me so much of it, which is a scary thought.
Like I hate it for him because he's gone from coordinator to coordinator to coordinator. So I just feel like he's never gotten used to anything in the NFL, like a regular
Yeah.
preseason, regular season, next preseason,
Yeah.
improve on things. It's just different people telling him different things all the time, and he just can't process it for whatever.
He's
reason.
Chicken
had
or the
some-
egg, though, right? Like, is that his fault for not being a good quarterback that he
Yeah.
hasn't been offensive coordinators, or is that?
he's
I
had
mean-
some bad coaches.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
tough because we would have said the same thing about Baker.
Yeah,
And look,
Yeah.
Baker figured it out and still doesn't have consistency with the coordinators. He's got 3 different ones going to Tampa now for 3 years.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, Fields has also gotten retreads for coaches, right? Whereas
Oh, it's terrible.
Bakers are getting promoted to head coaching
Yeah.
jobs. So there's something seen there. But yeah, no, who knows? Who knows?
If somebody does, they'll get rich one way or another.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't promote gambling on this podcast, but you know, if you knew what would happen with the Jets, you could be a very comfortable position after this year.
That's the other thing we have to mention. I know this is not very like a very statistical analysis or anything, but also it's the Jets, right? So
That's Jesse's favorite line.
It's the Jets.
Well, the good news is situations change really fast in the NFL, and
Yes,
there's
they
a
do.
lot of good quarterbacks coming out next year. And it doesn't necessarily mean the Jets have to be, because I think the Jets might be middle of the pack,
Mhm.
just because Aaron Glenn, I think, will bring a level of responsibility, and there's a lot of talent on the defense. But even with these young quarterbacks coming in, it's going to displace some other quarterbacks, and I just think that there'll be enough out on the market that the Jets will be able to land somebody competent, somebody that can just produce a good season out of Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
At
that's
least
all
for
we're
this.
asking for. And Brees.
We've been saying that for years.
Give
though.
me
well,
Brees
the
and Garrett
Jets
Wilson.
the Jets will find another young quarterback to ruin. They'll do it.
That is true.
All right.
Who else in this tier?
Hold on. That's it for this tier. Let's move to the next tier. Actually, the next tier is where we have all the names.
Okay. At 16, I have AJ Brown. 17, Rashee Rice. 18, Rome Odunze. 19, Devonta Smith. And 20, T. Higgins.
Chad.
At 16, I have AJ Brown. At 17, I have Rome Odunze. At 18, I have Rashee Rice. At 19, I have Devonta Smith. And at 20, I have Jameson Williams.
And Mike.
At 16, I have Rome Odunze, 17, Rashee Rice, 18, JSN, 19, T. Higgins, and 20, Devonta Smith.
Mike was the only one in the neighborhood of AJ Brown. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No,
Really, I
We
wanna
can
talk-
if you want. We can absolutely bring this discussion up.
No. He's not one of our names. I want to talk about Rome. And there's two things that can be true about Rome. He could be set for a breakout, yet he could still be a wide receiver too.
Yeah, this is he's so tough to gauge. Like, we all liked him. I know Chad was extremely high on him. There's just so many variables and outcomes. It's kind of why he's at the bottom of this tier for me, which is from 14 to 18. I just don't know what to expect with that offense. I mean, he could be the number 1 target, or he could realistically be the number 4 target, and I don't think anybody would be shocked. So, there's just too much here for now. So I'm playing it safe with the Chicago guys until we see something happen, and I may miss some value here and there and have to be okay with it.
You muted, Jesse.
We lost Jesse.
But you're all good. I was just gonna say for Rome, I listen to a lot of different podcasts, especially Colin Cowherd, who's based out of Chicago, and from some of the really deep reporters, like this coaching staff just loves Rome and what he's done this offseason. Antoine Randall, you might remember old Pittsburgh. He's the wide receivers coach out there now. Got a good quote from him in training camp about Rome. He said he can be a Z, he can be an X, he can run routes, he understands the offense. When you understand the offense, we're going to put you in different spots. So I'm probably higher than most, I think, on Rome. And I think I don't know, I loved him since last year too, right? I called him Doomsday.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And last year, I mean, he did have, some he had 3 10-plus target games. So I think the possibility is definitely there. And it was good to see Caleb at least look competent with the scripted first drive that he had last preseason game. So
Yeah, it did.
it's good to. I think it's going to be a learning curve, but great division too, high scoring division. So I mean, I think Rome will get his opportunities.
Yeah, I'm as Austin was saying, really, really high on Rome. I love Rome Odunze. If Rome Odunze is the 4th target on the Bears offense, I would be shocked. Because I think he's the most talented player on the team, personally. What scares me though is Caleb Williams, and so we were talking about like 38% of Rome's deep targets were deemed catchable last year, and that was the 5th lowest in the NFL. Out of every wide receiver in the NFL that was, statistically relevant. So I'm scared that we're going to see Caleb from year 1 and year 2, but I'm hopeful that we won't. And I think that's going to be the decisive factor.
Yeah, so that's a good question. How long of a leash does Caleb get? It's a new coach, but man, they put a lot of resources into Caleb Williams. So
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get this year for sure. And
he's going to get this year.
I don't know. They
next.
re-signed Badge his backup, but yeah, no. I think
That's so he doesn't leave and join the professional arm wrestling circuit.
So I did want to bring up Ryan Poles was in a one-on-one interview with a local radio station, and they were talking about the wide receiver room. Ryan Poles is the GM for the Bears, for anybody unaware, and he actually said he believed that Luther Burden was the most talented receiver on the roster, which is pretty crazy thing to say to the public as a GM, being you have somebody you pay in $25 million and another guy you drafted in the top 10 the previous year. That being said, that's kind of why I say we just don't know what we're going to get. We don't know who they're going to scheme targets for. We don't know how it's going to be. The player and the talent I absolutely believe in, but I believe in DJ Moore too. I think he is a very talented receiver. So it's just, I don't know what to do. So I haven't been buying. I haven't been selling. It's just a little worrisome here. And then you add, like Chad said, Caleb's inconsistencies last year. I just don't know what we're going to get. So it worries me, putting him into that 15 or higher range, which is why he's at the bottom of this tier.
All right, Austin.
Real quick, just to comment on that, because that quote is wild.
It is.
If he believes Luther Burden is the most talented wide receiver on the Bears right now, then he's an idiot for drafting him where he did and not trading up to get him.
Well, that's reading the room. That's reading the other GMs. You take the talent where you believe they're going to be taken. That's what you do. That's how a good GM becomes great.
He thought that this guy was better than DJ Moore, better than Roma Dunze, and then he said, you know what? I don't think any other GM will come get him, so we'll just let him fall. I don't believe it.
It might have been the light of fire under Luther Burden, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just personally, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, he said it, of course, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's
we're the front office podcast, right? So this is front office speak. Let me interpret the front office speak for you. Yes, it's number one. Luther Burden it's been on record as people saying that he's the type of player that needs to be pumped up with confidence. And also, I think it might be to light a fire under DJ Moore. Oh yeah, I'm not the most talented wide receiver on this team, and maybe Roma Dunze as well. So yeah. I don't think he really believes that. I think he's just playing games with his players' minds.
If it was even like the 16th, 17th, 18th, 20th pick, I'd be like, okay, that's believable. Like maybe he's like, oh, I think this guy will fall. But the 39th pick of the draft you thought was more talented than your all-pro wide receiver? Like, I don't believe it.
It might not be hard. I mean, it might not be easy to, play with somebody's minds. For us, I'm in my 50s, you guys are in your 30s. Like it was said earlier, these guys are in their early 20s, easily manipulated, especially by coaches and front office people that they respect. So, yeah, I fully think that's what it was. And at the time, I fully thought that that's what it was. Luther Burden missed a lot of camp with injury. I doubt very highly that he's up to speed and that he's going to command targets over these other players.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to be scheme targets year one, I would assume, looking at what they have everywhere else. He's going to be the guy. Yeah, that's what he should be early on to begin with, being they have DJ Moore and Roma Dunze, and Gomet and Colston Loveland. So, we should expect him to be the gadget guy, which is just fine for year one. It just, to me, like I said, it just adds a ton of variables, and it worries me for year two production for Rome, even though we all believe in the player.
I get what they were kind of trying to do, but if it were me, I'd have waited and taken Savion Williams just later.
Oh no, that's a ridiculous statement. That's a ridiculous statement. That's worse than Ryan Poles' statement, Mr. Front Office speak. That's ridiculous, dude. That is ridiculous.
You could have said any player and you went with Savion Williams.
All right. So we have Rashee Rice in this tier. What worries about me? What?
Really?
The low ADOT, the very specific usage versus the team outwardly saying they want to be more explosive this year. Mahomes being a more explosive type of quarterback. Well, being the quarterback of a more explosive type of offense in the past, where they used to run all goes when they had Tyreek and Demarcus Robinson, all those guys. I don't suggest that they're going to run that offense again, but they do have Hollywood and Xavier Worthy that can go deep. Are we so sure that Rashee Rice is going to have this role? And while he's out with suspension, is Jalen Royals going to take that role from him?
All right, let me give you some Chad analysis right here. To your first question, yes. To your second question, no. Now, Chad, please give me some good advice here.
Yeah, Rashee Rice's role is his role. I mean,
That's wide receiver on the
Thank
team.
you.
Yeah, his role is his role. You watch the games, you just see exactly what they're doing. Nobody can stop it. He's playing, a really good impression of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I don't think there's anybody else on the team that can do it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, right, the point of the offense is to score points and then number 2, get first downs. So I don't really care where the ADOT is. If Rashee Rice is getting him first downs, they're going to feed him the ball.
And that's just what he does.
I don't think there's anybody else on that offense that can do that. And they can say they want to air it out all they want. I mean, yeah, we've seen Mahomes do it, but their offense now is what their offense is. Like, it's very efficient. They burned, like last year, they burned the clock. That's why they had so many close games, is they were just first down after first down after first down. And that was even without Rice there. Yeah, obviously I'm worried about the Rice situation, right? The suspension was supposed to be at 8 games, but now they're fighting back about it. So it's probably going to be 6 from what I've read and what I've heard. But I'm just hoping it's not the middle or back end of the season. That would absolutely suck. But he is the wide receiver 1 there, and I probably like Worthy more than most. So, but he'll be the go guy. They'll air it out to. That's Worthy's job. And to answer your question, Jesse, no, I don't think. What's his name? Royals can take Rashee Rice's role or job.
I think Jalen Royals is extremely underrated. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah. So the other thing is, I think having 2 competent perimeter players that can stretch the field is probably best case scenario for Rashee Rice. That's going to open up his role even more. So it's not like that we talk about 2 things can be true, right? Yeah, we can have more talent on the offense and maybe a little bit more versatility as far as being able to get the ball deeper down the field, but also that can improve the efficiency of Rashee Rice and his role in what he does in that offense.
That's a good point.
And sadly, Hollywood can't stay healthy, so
yeah, that's true.
I won't count on him anymore.
Yeah,
as much as I'd love to see it.
Worthy looked better at the end of the last year and in the playoffs and against the Eagles backups in the Super Bowl. But
backup corners, huh?
What I would worry about, though, is the judge in the Rice situation took a month the last time she decided, so if we're not going to court for another, 3 weeks?
September 30th is the date.
Oh, so another month, another 5 weeks, actually.
Yeah, which might actually help the fantasy situation to allow him not to get any kind of NFL punishment until after what we care about. But at the end of the day, we have no clue. So, we just have to go off of what's going to be on the field.
I was going to say, wasn't Zeke midseason?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be midseason.
I'm worried about, but
right. Yeah. All right, let's move on to JMO. Chad, tell me why he's more than just a boomer bust flex play, despite nothing really changing in the positions around him. What's different?
Well, I mean, a lot has changed. Last year was his first year as a full-time starter in the offense. So, and we saw the involvement right away. And as the year progressed, we saw, a level of comfort being developed with him as a player within that offense. And then we also have the coach coming out all offseason and talking about how, hey, we're getting Jameson more involved. And not only that, but last offseason when he was saying that, it actually happened. So I think there's a progression going on with Jameson Williams that we'll see extend into this year. We'll see him a little bit more involved. And that's the only question mark, right? Because the efficiency is there. The talent is there. Everything else is there. It's just the involvement, right? We just need to see another step in that phase of his game. And by all accounts, it looks like we're going in the right direction.
Okay. But you still have Amon-Ra. It's a different offensive coordinator. So what if he likes Laporta? What if he sees Laporta as the guy that moves the chains for him and Jameson Williams is just too, like I said, boomer bust, hit or miss?
But he's not boomer bust hit or miss. He's boomer bust hit or miss for fantasy. He's not boomer bust hit or miss as an NFL talent. He was consistently good in the NFL as a wide receiver. Consistently good. He just didn't get a lot of.
The reception perception had him as consistently good against zone and average against man. So that's a good receiver.
Yeah, I mean he's an ultra efficient wide receiver. We just need to see a bit more production. If we can get him from, he's kind of hovering in that same reception range as Marvin was in his Marvin Harrison Jr. was in his first year. If we can see a jump into the 80, 75, 85 reception, it doesn't have to be a massive jump, but just to jump into that category, we should see a massive jump in positional finishing, because as a wide receiver, if you can finish, wide receiver 19 or wide receiver 20, whatever he finished this year with 58 receptions, then you bump that up just a little bit and you're seeing some real movement here.
Yeah, I think the common thread we're seeing with these last three players that I brought up is that they're all three extremely talented players that are dealing with other extremely talented players on the roster with them. And it's not just one other player. It's multiple other players that are threatening them for targets. So it makes it very difficult to predict. I guess that's why we're here.
Yep. And that's why they're at 20 or lower as well, because it's so tough to gauge their futures.
Yep. Right. All right. Let's go with the last five, Austin.
21, Jalen Waddle. 22, Emeka Egbuka. 23, Zay Flowers. 24, DJ Moore. And 25, Matthew Gold.
Chad? Mike?
21, Jalen Waddle. 22, Zay Flowers. 23, Emeka Egbuka. 24, Chris Olave, and 25, Jordan Addison.
21, T. Higgins. 22, Jordan Addison. 23, Emeka Egbuka. 24, Jalen Waddle. 25, Matthew Golden.
All right. Out of this group, I want to talk about Waddle. Mike and Austin, since you guys seem to be the big Waddle boosters this offseason, why will his usage go up after being marginalized last season? The only player that they lost was Jonnu Smith. I mean, I know he did suck up a lot of air. He did suck a lot of air out of the offense last season, but convinced me that Waddle's going to be the number 2 option in this offense again.
Go ahead, so for me, I mean, number 1, Tua has to stay healthy is the big thing that has to happen as far as
let's assume everybody's
to make
healthy.
This happen, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, I think their defense is going to be garbage, and I think they're going to be airing that a lot. Because if we go back to the 2023 season, I know we're talking 2024 here, but 2023, the Dolphins had the most yards per game at 401. They had the most passing yards in the league. They were number 2 at points per game, with over 29 points per game. And nothing's really changed to that offensive ecosystem, right? And say Mike McDaniel got figured out a little bit, whatever the case might be. But also, when Tua came back after week 8, that's when Waddle had his 2 wide receiver 1 wide receiver 1 weeks. So he really needs Tua just to stay healthy. Like it's kind of, what we were talking about earlier with Tyrod and the Jets situation, right? If you don't have a competent quarterback that can get these really elite players the ball, and I think Tyreek and even Waddle could go into that, then it's just not going to look pretty. But I kind of trust the Mike McDaniel offense more than I do the Jets.
Okay, fair enough. Austin?
Well, Jesse, you said if we're pretending that everybody stays healthy, that's all I need. If you're going to tell me Jalen Waddle stays healthy and Tua stays healthy, he's going to smash his current value. There's really that's the only variables I have in it. Like last year, he was hurt all year. I mean, I think he got hurt week 1, or it might even been preseason.
Who, Waddle?
Yeah, Waddle. And he just had nagging injuries throughout the whole year. And you could see, like, he didn't look anything like the Jalen Waddle we've watched any other year in his career. So from everything I've read, he looks extremely healthy right now. He's just such a good player. I mean, he came in the league and put 2 wide receiver 1 seasons up back to back. And one of those, yes, was with Tyreek. So it's not like he can't do it with that. If you're telling me they're going to stay healthy, then I have him too low at 21. That's how I feel.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, we've seen it before, so really hard for me to argue. All right, I really only have one last name that I want to bring up. Chad Judy.
Yeah.
Can he repeat what he did last year with like old Flacco and the gaggle of QBs that he has behind him?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on the quarterback situation. Obviously, we've seen the lows of Jerry Jeudy. We've seen some flashes of talent and some incredible passes of play last year there with Winston. But a lot of people are attributing that to Winston's style of football and his eagerness to air it out. I'm hoping that we see a little bit more consistency there with whoever is in the offense. Of course, it's going to be Joe Flacco early, but if you have a guy like Shador Sanders, some point in the season stepping in and is able to be even a semi decent quarterback, and he is a very accurate quarterback, I think that's really all Judy needs to be successful. Is to be involved in an offense, be a main part of the game plan. There weren't like so many wow passes from Jameis Winston where he was just doing incredible things and finding Judy in spots nobody else could. It's just he was more involved in the game plan, and Winston wants to throw the football. So that's all I'm looking for. I don't think that's too much to ask. Who knows if we'll get it, but I do think the talent is there with Judy, and I always have.
Mike, you don't think that?
No. So obviously former Bronco, whatever. I really don't care. But I mean, the numbers kind of don't lie with where he was with Winston and where he was without it. With the 7 or 8 games that he was with Jameis Winston, he had almost 70 targets just in those games alone with Jameis Winston, and finished as a wide receiver 16-ish on a weekly average of where he finished at wide receiver, not points. Without Jameis Winston, his average wide receiver finish for the year was wide receiver 50. And that's including a game where he had 18 targets and he only had 94 yards. And he couldn't go over 94 yards with any other quarterback. So with the quarterback situation, what it is in Cleveland, I think it's going to be a dumpster fire. I really do. Like, do I think Judy is probably the best talent there? Yes, I do. I mean, I do like Njoku. I like Fannin as well. But I've heard they're thinking about trading Njoku. So I just think it's going to be an absolute you-know-what show with Shador there. And once Flacco starts playing terrible or they can't score points, it's just going to be something I don't want to be a part of. Judy had some drama in Denver, and if it goes south in Cleveland, I know he got the contract from him, but I could see the exact same situation again. So I am completely hands off Judy.
Yeah.
All right.
People listening need to join the Discord so you can see our rankings, so you can see how petty Mike really is. So he's ranked 32 receivers. He left 33, 34, 35 blank just to put Jerry Jeudy at 36, just to make sure everybody knew, hey, I don't like this guy.
Look, it was right before the pod. I couldn't figure out who else I was missing.
But you could have put him at 33 just fine.
But I know I'd put the other ones ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of Judy, I actually think Shador's play style fits Judy really well. He's a receiver that can get open fast. I don't know how if he's going to catch it, but he can get open fast. And that's what Shador is good at, finding the receiver quick, putting the ball there where it needs to be. And that's really where he excelled with Jameis last year, was hitting those slants, hitting those in and out breakers quick, and the random, Jameis bomb. But overall, I think those two mesh pretty well. I think Flacco is going to do a similar kind of offense. He's not going to sit back there and hold it for 6 seconds and sling the ball 55 yards. That's not what Joe Flacco does. So I think Judy fits that, and I'm assuming that the Cleveland front office and coaching staff saw what Judy can do. So, I feel like they'd be pretty smart to kind of try and replicate that this coming season.
Yeah. And to that point that I was trying to make before, it's not that saying, Judy didn't perform better with Winston. I just don't think that was because it's Winston. It's because it was decent quarterback play. Watson struggled to get over 150 passing yards in a game. It's just they were so bad with Watson. They just need competent, decent, okay quarterback play. That's all they need.
But do they have the worst quarterback room in the league, I guess, besides the Saints?
Yeah, besides the Saints, yeah.
The Colts, maybe.
Yeah, Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't see. I don't understand Shador there just because Stefanski is such a play action based, run the ball, pass off a play action based offense that I just don't think that Shador, there was just complete spread air raid in college, right? I don't think he's ever really even done it.
I mean, a lot of quarterbacks now don't play under
Yeah,
center.
that's
I mean,
yeah,
Bo
sure.
Nix had to learn
Yeah,
that.
that's
He didn't play
college.
under center at all.
yeah, that's literally what the college game is now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
that's true.
O-line plays so terrible in the NFL until they develop, is because none of the linemen know how to run an NFL offense.
Yeah, I think Shador being good is best case scenario for that offense.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's the best case scenario. So if he doesn't work out, they'll be drafting a quarterback, this upcoming offseason.
All right, guys, I'll just open it up real quick. Anybody we didn't discuss that you want to bring up before we go to some camp updates?
I'm just going to say with the Emeka Ibuka craziness because of McMillan going on the IR, probably out till week 10. I heard he's going top 30 in redraft, which is bananas
No, thank you.
to me.
No,
I couldn't even
way.
imagine in a startup where that's at. Like, yes, I think the opportunity is there, but Godwin started practicing again too. So I'm so scared. I'm scared of that.
In redraft in a 1 QB league, would you rather have Josh Allen or Emeka Ibuka?
Give me Josh Allen.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, in the Discord, I put in a trade I saw completed. The Amarian Hampton manager sent Amarian Hampton for Emeka Ibuka in a second.
No, don't do that.
That's wild.
That's insane.
Omari and Hampton should be through the roof right now with it looking like Najee might miss the
Yeah,
first
I
matches
just-
of the year.
I-
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have Ibuka, just fish the pricing. Even if you're a huge fan, just fish him. Just see what
Yeah.
people, go to the manager and, shoot a little high at whatever position you need and see what they do.
Right. What if you can get
Who
AJ
knows?
Brown?
No, I mean, that's fine. Actually, for a winning
Yeah.
team, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is one of those that can look bad in a year, so I don't love that as much just because of the age discrepancy. But, I mean, if you can throw a second and go after Ladd, or throw a running back if they need a running back and go after a name like that, just fish and see what can happen.
Well, you also posted a Twitter poll from somebody
Oh,
who got quite a bit of responses on his Twitter poll, and the consensus was people would rather have Emeka Ibuka in a Superflex league over Brock Purdy, which is nuts.
What?
And Baker Mayfield.
And Baker.
And Baker?
And Brees Hall.
Brees Hall was, and it was like, it wasn't even close.
No,
for
it was
Brees
like
Hall.
81-19.
It was like 80-20. Yeah, like it
Yeah.
was.
And I put one towards the 19 because I for sure thought, I was like, oh, everybody's going to pick Brees. And I clicked it and I was like, what?
Wow. I mean, I was the highest on Ibuka out of all of us, and I think all of that is nuts. His ceiling is like a really good
Devonta
high-end
Smith.
wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. Yeah, Devontae Smith in his current situation.
Yeah, and people would take Ibuka all day over Devonta Smith.
Now,
And
if you took AJ Brown off the Eagles, Devontae Smith takes a side
Absolutely.
for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I mean,
the
I'd take
talent, you meant.
Igbuka over Devonta Smith right now, but I think
Yeah.
those other guys are just in
Sir,
a different kind of class.
Your rankings say otherwise.
Yeah.
So, I
All right.
mean, there's a little nuance to it, but
yeah. There's nuance.
Austin, why don't you tell me what's going on in Panthers camp with the battles? Anything we should be paying attention to? The wide receivers are a little bit murky.
it's a mess at wide receiver, but in a good way for the first time in probably a decade for the Panthers. They're
How's Leggett
struggling.
doing?
He looks good. I mean, he's still not the second best receiver on the team, but he never was.
He looks good.
I mean, he does. He does. He still can't hands catch. Like that
This does
bugs
not
me.
sound like
That's
a
problem.
first round
Well,
pick to me.
it just bugs me. But I mean, he looks good. He looks fast. He's huge, and he gets open.
Yeah.
Just he
Your
looks
words and your
good, but
inflection weren't lining up there.
no,
No, I
I
mean, he
can't
gets-
stand body catches. it's one of my pet peeves from receivers.
But if
and
you
he
tell
does
me
it so bad.
he gets open, then
He
that's
does.
more than you can really say than last year.
It's true. I mean, he actually produced decent. He got open a lot better than I expected last year. His routes in college were terrible. He worked a ton on that last year, and this year he said specifically, "I worked on hand catching." So we're gonna see. He looks. I mean, is the cost he costs right now? He's worth the flyer. That's what I'll say.
Which is what, a third?
Yeah, basically.
No.
I
Can
mean,
you get him for a third?
to some owners, probably.
D. Mitchell, you probably have to pay second.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, if you
Yeah, I
really
don't know
need a
about that, to be
receiver,
honest.
that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if I'd pay it.
Hmm.
I would
But
never.
it-
I would not pay a second for
No, I
Leggett
would not.
at this point.
Yeah,
I
the
wouldn't
receiver
either.
room after McMillan is honestly, I have no idea, and I follow every reporter, I see every interview. I have no idea what to expect. I think Jalen Coker is probably the second most talented receiver in the room.
No, well, Thielen.
No,
No,
I said what I said.
I mean, age has
uh,
zapped his athletic ability, but he's talented.
Okay, I said what I said, and I meant it. And then, I mean, you've got Renfro. I have no idea what to expect out of that. And like you
Nothing.
said, you have Thielen. I don't even know if Jimmy Horn's
You
going
know
make
what
the
to
roster.
expect.
Well, Panthers reporters seem to believe that he's going to be a issue, like a good issue in the offense. And I don't see it, but is what it is. It's a mess. So I don't know what to do with the receiving room, but after Tuesday, I'll have a little bit better idea what they expect. As for the running backs, Trevor Etienne does look good. He's a deep stash in Dynasty. Don't trade anything for him, but if he's available, get him. Rico Dowdle will be used. They're going to run a lot of 2 running back sets, but Chuba's still the workhorse guy.
Is he locked in as a high-end RB2 for this? Yeah, for this year.
Yeah, barring health, yes, the usage is going to be there.
Right on. Yeah, I really like him in like the 4th round in
Yeah.
redraft this year.
And then JT Sanders is the clear-cut tight end 1. Everyone has raved about him.
Is he going to matter? So I
Yeah,
understand he's
well,
starting for the
if the
Panthers, but will
offense
he
is-
matter for fantasy?
If the offense can be what it was last year, or even better, if it can go up one more tick, that's the second half of last year, he should matter. Yes. He should be a productive low-end tight end 1, high-end tight end 2. He looks really good, man. Like, he looks better than he did in Texas, which I thought he looked. I was a huge JT Sanders fan coming out of Texas.
Yeah.
He trimmed
like
down
that.
like 11 or 12 pounds. He looks explosive now. So we'll see what that matter comes to. That all depends on how the offense produces. If they're going 3 and out, 7 out of 10 drives, then nobody's going to produce. So we'll see.
All right, Chad, tell us about the Giants.
yeah, the Giants look good. They look good. It's preseason. They look good.
Tell us about the position battles for skill players, please.
Oh, you want me to elaborate on the podcast?
Yes.
Okay. So Jackson Dart is not going to be the starting quarterback. We all know that. But I am getting more and more excited about the prospect of him playing at some point this season. I didn't think it was going to be a possibility, to be honest with you. I thought they were going to keep him out. But, man, if Russ struggles, I just don't know how you can at this point, because Jackson Dart has literally done everything he could possibly do to get people excited. So there's that. And that's on the field and off the field. Jameis is going to be QB 2 or 3. Still working on that. He might not even be on the team. There's talks of potentially trading him somewhere if that ends up being in his best interest. And then the running back position, Scatabo, he played, so that's a plus.
That's
He
good.
played
That is
today.
good.
He didn't look great, but also didn't play a lot. So I think he had 4 or 5 rushes. I think he got 8-9 yards or something like that. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Tyrone Tracy is the RB1 in that offense. I think he's gonna get a significant workload there. Beat reporters are saying something around 75-25 is probably going to be the split. And then the wide receiver battle, there really is not a wide receiver battle. It's Malik Neighbors and everybody else at this point. Theo Johnson, everybody's been raving about him, so that's good. But yeah, the main thing in this offense is going to be quarterback play, and seeing how that goes. The offense will go as the quarterback goes.
All right, Michael, tell us about the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Lots of hype coming out of Broncos camp. So obviously you guys saw they traded Devon Vele, which I know sounds like no news, but he was going to be on the roster.
Yeah,
Sean
they got
Payton-
4th for him. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's crazy.
Yeah, they got a 4th and a 7th, and they drafted him in the 7th round last year.
What was
So-
it? 6/7 swap, wasn't it?
I last I saw was 4th and 7th. Either way, just getting a 4th alone is wild to me. But I guess they like that enough from him. So the main thing coming out of that, though, is Franklin and Bryant, especially Pat Bryant and what's Franklin's first name?
Troy.
Franklin. Sorry. They both had really great preseasons. So I don't think they would have made that trade if Champagne wasn't confident in those guys coming in and producing as top 4 guys with Sutton and Mims. Franklin had 7 receptions, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns in preseason. Pat Bryant went 4 for 70 in the last game, where he got a majority of the time. So really excited to see what happens with this receiving room. It's going to be very different from what it was last year. A lot of the big vets are getting cut. So as far as the running back room, Harvey made a lot of improvement from just preseason, even just from preseason 1 to 2. In the first week against the 49ers, he was just bouncing everything outside. It was literally every single run. And Peyton and the offensive coordinator did kind of call him out on it. They're like, it's kind of what he's used to, but he's got to, trust his blocks up front. And he did that in the second game against Arizona for a touchdown because of it. So nothing super flashy. I mean, he was just 10 for 43 and a touchdown, but he did have 2 catches. So I do think Dobbins is going to take all the third down work to start off the season. But if Harvey gets going, I think he can really, really be interesting in the Broncos offense. And I know this is like really back end of the roster, but Estime might be cut. So, it's going to be Dobbins, Harvey, and McLaughlin are pretty much all you want from the Denver backfield moving forward. So if you got him on a taxi or something like that, maybe go for someone like a Trevor Etienne or someone else, because Estime is assumed to be gone.
I think Dobbins going to look really good in orange.
Yeah. Hey,
I do.
I'm a Broncos fan first.
So I'm just out of those 3 guys, those 3 running backs that you guys just brought up, Chuba, Tracy, and Harvey. It's an interesting discussion. For just this year, I think I would rank it in that order.
Of where they finish, or
for this season, yeah.
Okay.
But for Dynasty, I'd probably have it in reverse order. I'd probably have it Harvey, Tracy, Hubbard. But I do like all 3 of them in both situations.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I haven't been this excited in a decade, Jesse. So
nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
Austin knows how that feels.
Yes,
the same way, probably.
Yeah. I'm a little bit more worried, but yes, there is some excitement finally.
I think the good thing for you, right, is the divisions.
Except for the Bucks have won it 4 years in a row, so it doesn't really help that much.
I mean, you got the Saints and the Falcons. Like, we just have the Raiders, and I do think they're actually decent. So they're the worst.
All right, so the moment everybody's been waiting for, the Eagles report. Really, all I have is Tyler Steen as the right guard. He looks great. Offensive line is going to dominate again. Johnny Wilson is out for the year. That sucks because he was going to have a role as a blocker. And if you look last year on some of those 50-yard Saquon Barkley runs, 89 was downfield blocking for him. He's a tremendous blocker. So really
do
sucks
not
that he's
call
out
him
for the
by
year.
his number. He does not deserve to be called. He does not get the number treatment.
But he was, I mean, he's really making strides. He's made some amazing contested catches in preseason, but not to stay on him too long.
Yeah, he was definitely going to end up wide receiver blocker 1
Yeah.
This year does get me good points in that
In the
one
pancake league.
Yeah. So you've told me about a right guard and a blocking receiver that's
I mean,
Are you going to throw the ball more,
really,
Jesse? That's the real question. Are they
it's
going to
really
throw
tough
it?
because the Eagles' positions are all set. They traded for Mechie. He'll now be the wide receiver 4 behind Dotson. Dotson actually had a huge camp, so he is cemented as the 3. There's absolutely no way that anybody is going to be the 3 other than him. And if either of the Eagles' top receivers get hurt, he can play either of those positions. So he'll move into that.
There's
spot.
some good info.
There
That's what
we
we
go.
needed to know. Is
Yeah,
there
so-
a running back we care about behind Saquon?
There are 2 guys. I think one of them's name is like Montrell Johnson, and the other one's like Shundundrick Cunningham.
If you don't know,
Shipley?
how am I supposed to? Yeah, what's up with Shipley?
Yeah, well, isn't he like the clear cut
Those are
backup?
the 2 guys that are going to be like deep stashes. Shipley and AJ Dillon are both the backups. Shipley's going to play in like 2-minute drills and passing downs because Saquon likes to drop the ball now, and that's about it.
Okay.
Dillon will come in if it's short yardage and Saquon taps his helmet or something like that.
He's going to make
But-
the roster?
Oh yeah, it's
Oof.
Saquon, Will Shipley, and AJ Dillon. So AJ Dillon and Will Shipley, you can consider both.
I was hoping to see Montrell take that role. I think he'd be really good.
No,
short
he'll be
yardage guy.
practice. He'll be practice squad. So really, it's you can't really even handcuff Barkley because it'll be like a 2-back thing if he goes out.
Okay.
Tight end, Grant Calcaterra, if anybody ever thought he was ever going to be a thing, he's gone. It's Dallas Goedert and Kylan Granson.
Oh, the old Colts tight end.
Indie guy, yeah.
Let's not end on the Eagles next time.
And other than that, just total dominance again. So you can just expect total dominance from the Eagles. That's what we saw in the
I would put money that they're not going to be as good as they were last year.
If anybody cares, DTR is going to get cut, and Kyle McCord will be the third quarterback. Tanner McKee is a high-level backup, by the way. People don't really understand
I've had
but
enough
he
of
is
this.
High level.
Let's move on.
I'm serious.
What, because of one preseason game?
No.
Because of 2.
He played in the regular season last year and looked really good.
Okay. Can we do anything else?
Literally anything.
No, we can go off the clock.
I'm looking at paint imperfections on my wall as we speak.
If you're watching it dry, it's got to be better than what I just heard.
Hey,
it's not even that. I'm like looking at like places that need spot touches. I'm like, oh yeah.
You guys asked, do you want to get into what the secondary is going to look like?
I don't think we even asked about the Eagles. I think you were like, oh, and as for the Eagles.
You implied.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're curious. All right. For me, I got The Lincoln Lawyer is what we've been watching. I think it's a couple years old. I don't think it's even new.
It's definitely the movie or the show.
The show. There's a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, the movie was with all right.
Matthew
McConaughey.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's where the show came
no,
from.
I didn't realize. I forgot. Okay. I've been watching the show.
It's pretty good.
It's well written. You know, it's not like there were a couple times where I thought, oh man, that's a plot hole that sucks. But then they're like luring you in, and then they explain it later. And like when the cop, the cop like sets him up, makes him think that he's being stalked. You know, it looked like the guy that was like stalking him was a little obvious about it, and that's why it's just there to scare him. But anyway, yeah, it's a good show. It's a good mystery. I like a good mystery, so don't tell me I haven't finished yet. So we'll see how it ends. What you guys got?
I don't really have a whole lot this week, to be honest. Like, still watching Twisted Metal. I got 1 episode to go because they're dropping 2 at a time every week. I don't know why that is. And then you guys will probably laugh at me for this one, but I started watching New Girl on Peacock.
No, New Girl's great. That's a funny show.
I love Schmidt. Cracks me up.
Schmidt is hilarious.
So much.
No, Winston is the best. One of my favorite characters in like that kind of television.
Winston's
Zoe
great
Deschanel?
too.
Is that who?
Yeah.
That is?
Yeah, Zoe Deschanel.
It's a really good show. I don't know. I was watching How I Met Your Mother, but that every episode just started getting the same after like 4 seasons.
Yes.
So I had to watch something else, and I saw New Girl, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of funny, and I watched the pilot episode, and I was like, okay, this is freaking hilarious.
Yeah. New Girl is objectively better than How I Met Your Mother, and I do like How I Met Your Mother.
Wow.
Like, okay.
That's a big statement. I finished How I Met Your Mother. Just to let you know, Mike, it's a letdown. How He Met His Mother.
Yeah, it is.
God, man,
I
love that.
I still don't know the spoiler, but yeah.
No,
I won't say anything else. It was just a letdown. I've watched
it's
the
like
show.
8 seasons, and I still haven't gotten there, man. So
it's 8 or 9,
if you haven't started now, you probably never will.
And I actually like the mother character. I was like, oh, she's cool.
Yeah, I won't say anything else, but it's a letdown.
Yeah.
I watched Where the Crawdads Sing for the first time.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Give us some highlights. Like, what's the plot about?
It's about this girl that lives in the North Carolina marshes, and
Hunting Venus flytraps.
No, but that is actually a really good knowledge pool right there. Well done from your past episodes. Well done. She just lives in the marsh, and her family abandons her, and she lives outside a city, and everybody rejects her. Yada yada. She gets accused for a murder, and the whole show is just about her life as she grows up and how the town treated her, and proving that she didn't do it. It's a really awesome twist at the end, and just it kept me glued to it the whole time. I enjoyed it.
When was this set?
The 50s and 60s.
See, that's what I don't get. Like, if you're in the 50s and 60s, the age before the internet, and you get accused of a murder, just move. Just get out of there. Just be like, all right, well, this town's kaput. I gotta go two towns over.
Yeah, Jesse, what were the 50s and 60s?
I knew this was coming.
Explain to us the barriers to travel in the 50s, Jesse.
I'll explain to you in this way. As Austin would know, if you were living in North Carolina in those days, you didn't even have shoes, let alone a car to get to the next town. So you just had to stay put.
She didn't have shoes, ironically.
Yeah, not coincidentally.
See, less stuff she had to
grew
carry
up
with
without
her.
shoes. Jeez.
Yeah, she was lighter for the trip.
No, you can't walk through the marshes. The gators, the cottonmouths will get you.
The gator and the Venus flytrap's going to get you.
Venus flytrap.
But yes, it's really good. I wouldn't have thought I liked it, but I really enjoyed it.
What platform did you watch it on? Or streaming?
He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
He's-
Sorry, I keep always forgetting. And I want to know where to look for it. Yeah.
There's something we can't
It's
talk
on
about
Hulu.
on the podcast.
Hulu. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Chad, you got anything for us?
Yeah, let's deviate from Austin's illegal activities.
Let's
I
cut
didn't
that,
say a
definitely.
word.
Definitely cut that.
Oh, I've been watching the new Dexter. Have you guys seen this?
I've heard about it.
I've heard of it.
You have to have like a premium to watch it. And I'm
Really?
like, what?
Or-
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually was not a big fan of the original Dexter. My wife loves it, and she convinced me somehow to watch this new Dexter. Like, it just started. I think it's still it's still releasing episodes. A new one comes out tonight, and I started watching it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. Like, way better than the original Dexter. Way better. So it's actually a really good show, and you don't have to have actually watched the original Dexter, because I didn't watch all of it to understand it. So it's pretty awesome. The acting, phenomenal. Like, some of the serial killers and stuff in this version of Dexter is they're phenomenal. It's pretty awesome.
So I loved the original Dexter when it was on, but the wife and I tried to watch it a few months ago, and it doesn't hold up. I couldn't.
No,
I couldn't
yeah,
do
it's not very good.
No, it's really kind of corny. So this new one is not corny.
No,
with
it's
goofy music and stuff.
it's so much better than the first Dexter, the original one.
Okay, maybe
In
I'll
my
check it
opinion,
out.
coming at it from somebody who didn't really like the original Dexter, I thought this one was much better.
Okay.
Really good production value too. It's actually surprising.
I got a couple good recommendations. Appreciate that, guys.
Got you, buddy.
All right, well, there it is. Anything else?
No?
So,
All right, well, it's been the front office.
Powered by Riverside.
You think the FBI watches us?
I think they do now.
I plead the fifth.
That one's